What is going on, you guys? Alright, so, yeah, I'm back with another movie review. And when I got home today, I took a nap, so I am all energized and ready for this. Without further ado, here's my review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This movie starts out from Gwen's point of view. She kind of gives a rundown of what happened in the first movie. You see very small clips from the first movie, pretty much doing what Spider-Man 2 of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies did at the very beginning. Kind of give you a very brief refresher of what happened, using beautiful imagery with her narration and saying, and she even says this, hinting of what was to come.
I didn't want to hurt him, but I did.
Yeah, we've all been friend-zoned. And then it goes into her backstory. Like, right before she joins the Spider Society with Miguel O'Hara. And, well, I'm sorry, but when she meets him, she low-key roasts him.
It's classified.
You're the Blue Panther.
No.
The Caped Blue Satyr.
No.
Dark Garfield.
No, stop.
Macho Libre.
This might just be me, but I think Caped Blue Satyr is a better name. I'm sorry, but I think it is. Yeah, this is Miguel O'Hara, a future Spider-Man, but I'll get into him later on. And then it's revealed that because of what happened with her version of Peter Parker, she hasn't made a single friend since then. And her dad thinks that she is a murderer because he was the Lizard in her universe. And during a fight, he ended up dying because of an accident that was not her fault. It was gravity's fault. Which with Gwen Stacy, gravity is definitely not her friend. I know that's a dark place to go, but I had to. It had to be said. Anyway, so when she reveals that she's Spider-Woman, her dad is shocked. Like, how long have you been lying to me? And then he starts trying to arrest her. Another version of Spider-Woman comes in and pulls Gwen away from her dad, and Miguel puts her dad in this force field thing. And then she's invited to join the Spider Society. And then when she joins, then starts the opening credits. All that. And I didn't even realize it, but it takes 20 freaking minutes. Like, just under 20 minutes just to get to the opening credits. And I'm not even complaining about it. It's that freaking good. And during Miles's monologue, you do kind of feel for him. Why do I get the feeling that Shamik Moore suggested that? Don't worry. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. It cuts to him trying to stop the villain named The Spot. And his roommate that he finally met at the end of the first movie. They have this exchange.
Yeah, yo, what's up, man?
I'm writing an essay.
There's a bad guy on the roof of the Peterson building. Can you call the police? Tell them to pick him
I
up?
don't know. Sounds like a slippery slope.
Just this one time?
It starts with one call, then it's walkie-talkies, synchronized watches. In a month, it'll be a spider signal. I'm not your guy in the chair.
If you at least get me a hot Australian girlfriend, I'll be fine with it. And did you notice he's playing a Spider-Man game? Sure, it's not the Miles Morales game, but still, that's a good in-joke. I'm not gonna lie. And then Miles has to go to a meeting with his parents and his guidance counselor about graduation, even though he's a sophomore. And they talk about his future, and it's just this whole big thing. It's way too much to get into this review. And then he has to leave as the spot got away. And, of course, after he deals with that, weirdly enough, him and his dad end up in the same place. Because his dad got called to deal with the spot also. So they talk as Spider-Man and a cop. And his dad still does not know that he's Spider-Man. And he honestly contemplates telling his parents that he's Spider-Man. Which Gwen advises him not to, for obvious reasons. And then, at this family barbecue, Miles shows up late with 2 cakes, and his parents ground him because of all the secrets he's been hiding. Which leads to something I'll get into later on. And then, when he goes to his room, Gwen pops in.
Are these your drawings? What? Oh, they're good. Wow, there's so many. Missed you too.
Don't worry, I'll get to it. Anyway, so they go and swing around New York, and then they get to this one tower and they have a heart-to-heart.
In every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man. And in every other universe, it doesn't end well.
Okay, you're really pushing me, movie. I'll get to it. And then they go back to the family barbecue, and Gwen kind of meets Miles' parents, and then she has to excuse herself, and then Miles' mom pretty much tells him, go get her. And he follows her to the spot where the spot was at, because he was created because of a super collider. And because of an experiment gone wrong, I guess, he became the Spot. And so he needs that kind of energy to become more powerful. Because he loses his power in this fight with Miles at the beginning of the movie. And then he goes to all these different dimensions, and when Gwen opens the portal to another dimension, Miles follows her, and then that's when they meet Spider-Man India.
I'm not a new guy. My name is Professor Krapaka, and for the past 6 months,
And even he got a watch? Yeah,
being Spider-Man is so easy.
I'm also best friends with Deadpool. And then in Spider-Man India's dimension, it's explained that there's something called a canon event, and it's disrupted. And it turns out, like, the death of Uncle Ben, the death of Uncle Aaron, and the death of pretty much every Uncle Ben and every parental figure in a Spider person's life, when they die, that's a canon event. And Spider-Man India's canon event was the death of the police captain, who also happens to be the father of his girlfriend. And Miles' canon event will be his dad dying. That's revealed when he has to go back to EHQ, because disrupting the canon event of Spider-Man India is going to cause the universe to collapse. At least until the Spider Society comes in, uses their gadget, gizmos, whatever you want to call it, and use the devices to contain the anomalies and all that. And then Miles learns the truth that Gwen did not come and see him simply because she was advised not to, because she knew that because of the scientist that became the Spot, the spider that bit Miles came from a different dimension, hence the number 42 on its back. That's the dimension that it came from. Miles was never meant to be Spider-Man. When I first heard that, I'm like, oh my god, I was not expecting that. Because I really wasn't expecting that. Hold on a second. Frank, shut up. Finds all this out, he goes AWOL, and he pretty much rushes over to the machine that sends anomalies back to the dimension they came from, and ends up in the dimension that the spider came from that bit him. In a dimension where there is no Spider-Man, and that version of Miles is the Prowler. That took me 13 minutes to describe the story, and that's just the story part. Honestly, it's very action-packed, and the story is better than the first one. I would never say that lightly. Alright, so the characters, Gwen is pretty much the same, except she's a lot more responsible in this one. So is Peter B. Parker. Miles is kind of reckless in this one, and alright, I'll just finally say this. Shamik Moore, you're a simp. The voice of Miles. When Haley Steinfeld, the voice of Gwen, got engaged, he tweeted pretty much saying, hey, yeah, life is too short. You never know when you might meet someone new. Or whatever dumb thing he said. And if you watch the interviews of the two of them together promoting the movie, the first movie and the second movie, he tries to flirt with her, and he's so freaking awkward. Like, seriously. I've had better luck flirting with girls, and I don't even know how to flirt. I have more riz than he does, and I don't even try to have riz. I don't even bother trying with girls when I know they're not interested in me. Seriously. Yes, I know he's come forward and said, like, oh, it's not like that, it's not like that. But when you constantly say, yeah, I have a lot, I do a lot of my best acting when I'm looking at Haley. Dude, not a good look. And I'm not trying to knock him because he is a good actor and he does seem like a nice guy. But come on, dude. Now, Miguel O'Hara, when you know his backstory, he takes his job a little too seriously. And honestly, given that I know that he's voiced by Poe from Star Wars, Miguel O'Hara, he is kind of an asshole. I'm not gonna lie, he's an asshole. And the Spot, ironically, in the first one, when you see Miles and Peter B. Parker running away in Alchemax, and Miles throws a bagel and it hits the sky and it says bagel, that was the Spot. Ironically, the Spot keeps on saying, I don't want to be seen as a joke. I don't want to be seen as a joke. He started out as a joke. That's an interesting twist. Alright, so what I didn't like was, I think his parents are a little too hard on him because, honestly, he's doing stuff. Yeah, I understand they're concerned with him, but if he says, hey, I can't tell you why I'm always disappearing. I can't tell you. And he reassures them that it's nothing illegal. I think they're a little too hard on him. And honestly, well, I think Miles is way too reckless in this one. Yeah, he was reckless in the first one, but he didn't know any better. He was a beginner. So it's kind of excusable. Another thing I didn't like was the fact that, well, Gwen should have just told him, like, hey, I couldn't come to see you because Well, honestly, this is what happened. If she had at least just explained it to him before any of that, he wouldn't have followed her. He definitely wouldn't have followed her. And none of the events of the movie would have, none of the bad events of the movie would have happened. Her and Spider-Man India probably would have stopped the spot before he even had time to turn on the collider of Spider-Man India's world. I'm just saying. Alright, final thoughts. Overall, I think this movie is incredible. It's better than the first one, and I just can't wait for the third one. But we keep getting news of it being delayed. And yes, the internet is blaming Shamik Moore. And I'm trying to be nice, because I don't know him personally. But seriously, dude, stop gawking over Haley. I get that she's gorgeous. But what does it say that the actor that played Killmonger has better chemistry with her than you do? And I would never say that lightly. And plus, she's married now. She's married. But maybe we're all just looking at it the wrong way. I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I've been in the situation where it looks like I like someone, but I really don't like them like that. So I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that that's probably what's going on. But seriously, you're not really helping your case with that, dude. But at least you guys make a good team making these movies. So now that I've said that, now that I've gotten all the jokes out, keep doing what you're doing. Sony, good on you. Hopefully, Miles Morales can join the MCU. Maybe. It'll be up to Sony. So yeah, I absolutely love this movie. And I can't say enough times how much I want to see the third one. So, until then, stay positive and stay awesome, everyone. See ya.